There is a subtle shift that often happens as men grow older and gain more life experience. In younger years, many men try to impress through status, humor, or constant talking. But with maturity, communication becomes simpler and more grounded. One of the most powerful psychological signals in conversation is the ability to communicate understanding. When a man calmly says words that reflect, "I understand," it does something important in the mind of the listener. It signals that the conversation is not a competition. It signals that someone is paying attention not just to the words, but also to the emotions behind them. Women often notice this immediately because true understanding is surprisingly rare in everyday conversations. Many people listen only long enough to respond, but very few listen long enough to truly absorb what another person is expressing. When a man communicates understanding, it reduces emotional tension. Instead of feeling evaluated or judged, the woman begins to feel acknowledged. This creates a psychological environment where openness becomes easier. The mind naturally relaxes when it feels heard. That is why phrases that reflect understanding often carry more influence than compliments or jokes. Compliments can feel pleasant, but understanding creates connection. It tells the other person that their thoughts matter and their experiences are being respected. Over time, this type of communication builds a sense of emotional safety, which is one of the strongest foundations for attraction and trust in any interaction. Another important layer behind the language of understanding is emotional intelligence. Words that reflect understanding usually come from careful listening and patience. They require a person to slow down rather than rush to dominate the conversation. Older men who have developed emotional awareness often communicate this way naturally because they have learned that people respond more positively to empathy than to performance. When a man says something that reflects understanding, he is demonstrating awareness of another person's inner world. This shows maturity because it means he is not focused only on himself. Instead, he is paying attention to the emotional atmosphere of the conversation. This type of communication also creates balance in interaction. When someone feels understood, they often become more curious about the person who understood them. The conversation begins to flow more naturally because it feels like a shared experience rather than a debate or presentation. Women often describe this feeling as comfort or ease. It is the sense that they do not need to perform, defend, or impress. They can simply speak and know they are being received with attention. This emotional comfort can quietly increase attraction because people naturally gravitate toward those who make them feel mentally and emotionally relaxed. Over time, the simple words that communicate understanding become a powerful signal of character. They suggest patience, empathy, and emotional stability. These qualities are often associated with maturity and life experience. When someone consistently communicates understanding, it builds a reputation of being thoughtful and grounded. In relationships and conversations alike, these signals matter more than dramatic gestures. Sometimes the most attractive quality is not excitement or charm, but the steady presence of someone who listens, reflects, and genuinely understands what another person is trying to express. There is another communication pattern that often stands out in mature interactions, and that is the quiet power of appreciation. Many conversations in daily life are transactional. People exchange information, solve problems, or move quickly from one topic to another without pausing to recognize the person in front of them. But when someone expresses genuine appreciation, even in a simple way, It creates a different emotional atmosphere. Appreciation communicates that a person is being noticed not just for what they do, but for who they are. Older men who have developed this habit of communication often use calm and sincere words that signal respect and acknowledgement. When a woman hears language that expresses appreciation, it can feel surprisingly refreshing because it breaks the routine of ordinary conversation and introduces a moment of genuine recognition. Psychologically, appreciation triggers a sense of emotional value. People naturally move closer to those who make them feel valued. This does not mean exaggerated praise or dramatic compliments. In fact, overly dramatic praise can sometimes feel artificial. Real appreciation is usually simple and specific. It might acknowledge someone's perspective, their effort, or the way they approach life. Older men who communicate this way often appear more thoughtful because their words are intentional rather than automatic. Instead of trying to impress with clever lines, they notice details. That ability to notice and acknowledge details signals attentiveness. And attentiveness is often interpreted as emotional intelligence. Another important element of appreciation is sincerity. People are surprisingly skilled at detecting when praise is forced or strategic. When appreciation is used as a tactic, it often feels hollow. But when it is expressed naturally and calmly, it carries weight. Older men who speak with sincerity tend to use language that reflects their genuine observations. This authenticity can create trust because it suggests that their words are aligned with their real thoughts. Trust grows when communication feels honest and grounded rather than rehearsed or exaggerated. Appreciation also shifts the energy of a conversation. When someone acknowledges another person's ideas or qualities, the interaction becomes more collaborative. Instead of one person trying to dominate the discussion, both individuals feel invited to contribute. This balanced dynamic often makes conversations more engaging and enjoyable. Women frequently respond positively to this atmosphere because it removes pressure and encourages natural expression. The conversation begins to feel less like a performance and more like a shared experience where both voices matter. Another psychological effect of appreciation is that it reinforces positive identity. When someone hears sincere recognition, it strengthens the qualities that are being acknowledged. For example, if someone's thoughtfulness or creativity is appreciated, they become more confident expressing those traits. This creates a positive feedback loop in the interaction. The more someone feels valued, the more comfortable and expressive they become. Older men who understand this dynamic often communicate appreciation in subtle ways that encourage openness and warmth. Over time, this communication style builds a reputation of emotional generosity. A person who regularly acknowledges others in a sincere way is often seen as respectful and grounded. These qualities can quietly increase attraction because they signal maturity and social awareness. Rather than chasing attention or trying to dominate the conversation, the individual creates a space where others feel recognized and respected. In the psychology of connection, that kind of atmosphere can be far more powerful than charm or humor alone, because appreciation touches one of the deepest human needs, the desire to feel seen and valued. There is a third communication pattern that quietly shapes how people feel in a conversation, and it revolves around emotional security. Many interactions in modern life carry a subtle tension. People wonder whether they will be judged, dismissed, or misunderstood. Because of this, the mind is constantly scanning for signals of safety, When someone communicates in a calm and respectful way, it reduces that internal tension. Older men who have developed patience in their communication often send this signal without even realizing it. Their words move at a steady pace, their tone remains balanced, and their language does not push or pressure the interaction. Instead of trying to force excitement or approval, they allow the conversation to unfold naturally. This style of communication quietly tells the other person that they can relax and simply be themselves. Psychologically, the sense of safety plays a powerful role in attraction and connection. When someone feels emotionally safe, their mind stops focusing on defense and begins focusing on curiosity. Women often notice this shift quickly because emotional safety allows them to speak openly without worrying about being criticized or rushed. Words that communicate patience and respect help create this environment. For example, when someone responds thoughtfully rather than interrupting or dismissing an idea, it sends the message that the conversation is a shared space rather than a contest. Older men who speak in this way often appear grounded because their communication does not feel reactive or impulsive. Another important aspect of emotional security is consistency. People tend to trust communication that feels stable over time. If someone's words are calm one moment and dismissive the next, it creates confusion. But when a person consistently communicates with balance and respect, the interaction becomes predictable in a positive way. Predictability in this sense does not mean boredom. It means reliability. Women often interpret this reliability as a sign of maturity because it suggests emotional control and self-awareness. Older men who have learned to manage their reactions tend to express themselves with clarity rather than emotional swings. This steady communication style also changes the rhythm of conversation. Instead of quick bursts of attention followed by silence, the interaction develops a smoother flow. When someone feels safe speaking, they are more likely to share thoughts, stories, and opinions. This openness deepens the conversation and creates a stronger sense of connection. The person who created that comfortable environment often becomes associated with the positive feeling of the interaction itself. In simple terms, people remember how someone made them feel, and emotional safety leaves a strong and lasting impression. Another layer of this communication pattern is respect for boundaries. Words that communicate patience often signal that the speaker is not trying to control the direction of the interaction. Older men who understand this principle rarely rush conversations or push for immediate responses. Instead, they allow space for the other person to respond at their own pace. This patience shows confidence because it suggests that the individual is not anxious about the outcome of the interaction. Confidence expressed through calm behavior often feels far more authentic than confidence expressed through bold claims. Over time, this combination of patience, steadiness, and respect builds a quiet form of trust. The woman in the conversation begins to sense that she is interacting with someone who values mutual comfort rather than personal validation. This feeling can increase attraction because it removes the pressure that often exists in early conversations. When communication creates emotional security, the connection becomes easier and more natural. In many ways, the most powerful words are not dramatic or complex. They are the simple, steady words that signal patience, respect, and a calm presence that allows another person to feel comfortable and understood. One of the most overlooked elements in meaningful conversation is curiosity. Many people enter interactions with the intention of being interesting rather than being interested. They focus on telling stories, sharing opinions, or presenting themselves in a certain way. But genuine curiosity creates a completely different atmosphere. When someone shows real interest in another person's thoughts and experiences, the conversation becomes more balanced and engaging. Older men who have learned the value of curiosity often communicate in a way that invites others to share more of themselves. Their words are not centered on proving intelligence or dominance. Instead, they reflect a sincere desire to understand another person's perspective. This simple shift in approach can change the entire tone of an interaction. Psychologically, curiosity signals respect. When a man asks thoughtful questions or responds with interest, it communicates that the other person's ideas matter. Women often notice this because many conversations in everyday life revolve around one person talking while the other listens passively. Curiosity breaks that pattern. It transforms the interaction into a shared exploration rather than a one-sided performance. When someone feels that their perspective is valued, they become more comfortable expressing themselves. This openness often leads to deeper and more memorable conversations. Older men who have developed this habit tend to appear more emotionally intelligent because their attention is directed outward rather than inward. Another important aspect of curiosity is patience. Genuine curiosity requires listening carefully and allowing the conversation to unfold naturally. It means resisting the urge to interrupt or redirect the topic back to oneself. Older men who communicate with patience often create a sense of calm in the interaction. Their words encourage reflection rather than competition. This relaxed pace makes it easier for the other person to speak honestly without feeling rushed or pressured. Women often interpret this communication style as a sign of maturity because it shows that the individual is comfortable allowing space in the conversation. Curiosity also reveals humility. When someone asks questions and shows interest in learning from others, it demonstrates that they do not believe they already know everything. This humility can be surprisingly attractive because it contrasts with the arrogance that sometimes appears in social interactions. Older men who approach conversations with curiosity often seem more approachable and thoughtful. Their communication style suggests that they value dialogue rather than control. Instead of trying to dominate the conversation, they are willing to explore ideas together. Another psychological effect of curiosity is that it strengthens emotional connection. When someone is asked about their experiences or viewpoints in a respectful way, they often feel recognized as an individual. This recognition creates a sense of importance and belonging. People naturally gravitate toward those who make them feel interesting and appreciated. Older men who express curiosity through their words often create this feeling effortlessly. The conversation becomes a space where ideas and experiences are shared rather than evaluated. Over time, this pattern of communication builds a reputation for attentiveness and thoughtfulness. A person who consistently shows curiosity is often remembered as someone who listens deeply and values meaningful dialogue. These qualities can quietly increase attraction because they create an environment where others feel comfortable expressing themselves. In the psychology of connection, curiosity functions almost like an invitation. It invites the other person to bring their thoughts, stories, and perspectives into the conversation. When that invitation is expressed through sincere and patient language, the interaction becomes more engaging, more respectful, and far more memorable than a conversation focused only on self-presentation. Another critical aspect of communication that often influences attraction is the way one expresses calm confidence. Many people confuse confidence with loudness, bravado, or constant self-promotion, but true confidence is quieter and steadier. It is conveyed not only through words, but also through tone, pacing, and body language. Older men who have gained life experience often display confidence